Hello and welcome. This video is about a rather unconventional computer build. I made this video in hope of proving something, but I ended up proving nothing and waste time. Well, with that out of the way, let's begin. The first thing I need to present to you is this motherboard, which is very unconventional. It has an Intel Mobile CPU, 1215U. While this is not a powerful CPU, it is more than good enough for general usages. Moving on, this motherboard accepts DC power as well, meaning you use a power brick. This allows me to avoid using a flex power supply, which is loud, not to mention an added advantage of not having extra cables. And this is a 120mm blower fan. This fan spins at 1000 RPM by default, and is relatively quiet for a blower fan. I plan to use this for this build. More on that soon. And this is a 1U rack mount chassis, Athena Power PM1UC138. This is an inexpensive, well, relatively speaking, 1U rack mount case. 1U rack mount has one huge disadvantage. It's the height limit. You can only use 40mm fans, and they barely move any air unless they are spinning at least 3000 RPM. In server environment, such fans will spin at around 6000 to 12,000 RPM, basically jet engine level of loudness. Anyway, this thin sheet of plastic is here to protect a motherboard from shorting out. Due to the height limit, the motherboard standoffs are half of the normal, and the lead connections underneath a motherboard has a real chance of shorting out. Therefore, this sheet of plastic is absolutely required. Here is a Noctua 40mm fan. They usually go on the front to push air into the chassis. When comparing the size of these two fans, the immediate advantage seems apparent. The blower fan is going to move a lot more air. I believe that using this blower fan would help keeping the temperature down for this setup. I have two options. Let the blower fan move air out of the chassis, or have it blow air into the CPU heatsink. The latter seems rather counterproductive due to how the CPU fan works. It blows air to all directions. Therefore, I've chosen to let the blower fan move air out. And this is how I am going to install the power brick. It's going where a flex power supply would have gone to. Now, if you are wondering how I am going to secure the power brick as well as the blower fan, there is a decent way to secure these. This is a double-sided silicone tape. This is generally used in kitchen and bath because it resists water. This is extremely sticky to the point that I had to use tools to get it off the first time I used this to secure a power brick, so I am going to use a very small piece to secure it. Okay, I am going to use Blender to fully utilize the CPU. I am on Unix Mint, by the way. The chassis is now fully closed with the blower fan working. Let's see how it does. it looks like 75 degrees Celsius. I do believe that the BIOS has a cap on the temperature, which is 80 degrees. In other words, this CPU is very likely thermal throttling at this point because Core 0 looks like it has hit the limit. Now the cover is off. Let's see how it does now. In theory, it should do better. It is not doing better. Does this make sense to you? The cover is off. It's getting fresh air. I disconnected the blower fan and is putting the cover back on. Let's see how this does. In theory, again, it should be worse. It is not doing worse. In fact, it's performing exactly the same as before. So far, it looks like having the blower fan is meaningless. In fact, having any fan inside may be meaningless. There is one last thing for me to test. I am going to turn the blower fan to the CPU so that it will supply air directly into the CPU heatsink. This ought to do something for better or worse. It's the same. What in the world? There is some slight behavior change, however. I occasionally see temperature plunge on some cores, but it looks like the average temperature is virtually identical. In the end, I feel like this was a pointless endeavor. I wanted to show you the benefit of having a 120mm blower fan in a very restrictive and unconventional 1U rack mount setup, but I proved nothing. I really feel like I missed something here. Even if I wanted to swap out hardware, it's not exactly easy to do, because I want to avoid using a flex power supply, meaning I can use motherboards that take DC power only, and I wanted to test this on a semi-powerful CPU. There is a very limited selection for such criteria. My only explanation on how the blower fan is not making any difference is the lack of I/O shield. I am assuming here that the wide open space in the back is enough for air circulation on its own. You can't use a regular I/O shield in a 1U rack mount chassis anyway, so I had no choice but to leave it open. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this rather pointless video. See you next time.